When you think of designer Lilly Pulitzer, you think of bright colors and big patterns. But what you probably didn't know is that there's a direct tie between this famous designer and St. Louis. 5 on your side's Mercedes McKay has more on this serendipitous story as we celebrate Women's History Month.
Most of us have heard the name Lilly Pulitzer and are familiar with her iconic designs. But have you ever heard the name Suzie Zuzek? Probably not. Well, thanks to one St. Louis mom, more of us are going to know that name.
This is a beautiful story that is steeped in American fashion heritage.
For the past 17 years, Becky Smith has devoted her time to saving the legacy of a woman she spontaneously met in Key West.
I have always shared with my children that the truth matters and that history matters so that we can do better.
The St. Louis mom of four and an artist named Suzie Zuzek's paths crossed back in 2007.
This is Wildness by Zuzek, copyright Key West Handprint Fabrics.
It was during that trip that Smith learned Zuzek was the woman who inspired and created thousands of designs for Lilly Pulitzer in the early parts of her career.
Suzie had worked every day for a quarter of a century, sitting on the second floor of the Key West Handprint Art Studio, creating all of the designs of my childhood, basically. And I was just blown away.
But all of those recognizable designs Suzie created was as a contracted artist and under the radar.
I had to ask myself this question. Do I help Suzie save her legacy and her oeuvre, or do I turn a blind eye?
Turning a blind eye was the exact opposite thing Smith decided to do. Instead, she and a group of investors bought Zuzek's archive of art, cataloged it, and worked with places like the Smithsonian Design Museum to bring Suzie's story to life.
What does great art do? It evokes conversation. And so now people can then start telling Suzie's story.
A story of an incredibly talented woman, decades later finally being brought to the forefront, all thanks to one St. Louis mom.
We're able to save it all for future generations to enjoy. And it is a feel-good story.
As for what's next for shining light on Suzie Zuzek's designs, Smith says they're in conversations right now with some companies to start collaborating. To learn more about Zuzek's story and the work Smith is doing, head to our website, ksdk.com, and look under the As Seen on TV section.